This is Bishop Michael Burbidge, and you are listening to the Walk Humbly podcast.
Welcome to the Walk Humbly podcast from the St. Clair studio here in the Diocese of Arlington. I am Tom Shakely, Chief Communications Officer for the Diocese, and I'm joined by our host, Bishop Michael Burbidge. Bishop, how are you?
I am doing well, Tom. Thank you. I hope our listeners are doing well. It's hard to believe we're already past the 4th of July, so I hope our listeners and their families get to enjoy the rest of the summer and maybe find some time for renewal and refreshment as well before we know soon we'll be back.
Oh, don't say it.
I know. Remember that as a student? I always remember, like, after the 4th of July, you would see your first back to school ad. You'd be like, no, here we go.
Yeah, someone sent me a photo.
But there's
of
plenty
Halloween
of time left for
recently.
rest and renewal, so I hope our listeners and their families are able to embrace that gift.
Very good. And Bishop, I know last time we spoke was at work camp. It's been a little while since then, and I think you did some travel yourself since then, right?
Yes. Friends of mine from the seminary, which shows you the great fraternity of the priesthood. We're friends for close to 40 years. We met each other when we entered the seminary and became priests and still maintain a friendship. So we started a tradition a while ago where 5 of us will just pick a U.S. city because we like history, we like music. 3 of the 5 like sports. So
That's pretty good.
So we outvote the other 2. We just pick a U.S. city. We kind of show up and we don't go with any real full agenda, and it always ends up being like an amazing trip. And we just come up with a city over dinner one night and say, okay, let's give it a shot. So this year, actually, we went to Kansas City, which was really an amazing trip. We like history, so there's this National World War I Museum, which is absolutely incredible. We spent half a day there. The Truman Presidential Library is nearby, and we spent half a day there as well. I didn't know much about Truman, so learned a great deal. Not far from the monastery where Sister Wilhelmina is.
Yeah.
Remember when they
Incorrupt, right?
Yes, and so we got to be there and prayed with the sisters. We visited Benedictine College, and Tom, I will, in full transparency, I will acknowledge that we also took a tour of enemy territory, and we entered the Kansas City Chiefs Arrowhead Stadium. But it was very wonderful. Through a friend, we had a personal tour and learned a lot more, not just about the football team, but about the history of the franchise and how the owner of the Chiefs, Lamar Hunt, played a key role in how we experience the NFL today.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and his son, Lamar Hunt Jr., a wonderful man, a faithful man, spent a couple hours with us. So it was really kind of a personal tour. He said he would join us on the tour as long as we did not wear, because all our friends are Eagles fans, so we were not allowed any Eagles gear, nor were we allowed to mention the previous Super Bowl.
You didn't slip any Eagles socks or Eagles bracelet or something?
But it's great. Priests need to be with priests and enjoy the time, and that friendship is a great gift to me. So, and again, I hope our families are having opportunities for similar trips together. It's great to have quality time together with people that are close to us.
Yeah, summer's wonderful for that. Well, Bishop, I know on an unfortunate and really a tragic note, I think pretty much everybody who reads the news saw the news a few days ago that there were these floods in Texas, flash floods. I think I read it was something like 29 feet was the maximum depth, and it just happened basically in an instant, flooding areas in central Texas and particularly impacting a Christian girls' camp called Camp Mystic. You saw these headlines, I know.
Sure, Tom. Tragic, right? Tragic. Our hearts are all broken to know the loss of life and just the devastation. And we have, as a diocese, through our pastors, asked everyone at all of our masses to be praying for those who lost their lives, for all those who were heroic in trying their best to save life, and for the recovery, not just from the land, but the recovery emotionally of so many people impacted by this. So tragic loss, devastation. Our hearts are broken, but again, we can do our part to assist, and it begins with prayer. Like, let's pray fervently for the intentions that I just mentioned. We also can help with our own resources. And so I've asked the pastors of our parishes to provide opportunities for our parishioners to contribute financially to the recovery process through Catholic Charities USA, or by taking a second collection in the parish, which we can get into the hands where help, the funds will provide immediate, direct help to those who need financial assistance. Our diocese has also made a contribution to assist as well. So we're united in heartfelt sympathy and in fervent prayer.
Thank you very much, Bishop. Well, in federal news here in the Washington area, President Trump on July 4th signed the One Big Beautiful Bill. The U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops has spoken about this, and I'm hoping you can help walk us through how we should think about this, Bishop.
Yeah, and it's a very large bill. I think it's over 900 pages. So
easy reading. Right?
Yes. Again, I have to be transparent. I did not read all 900 pages. I am relying on good sources and executive summaries, and it's hard with a bill of that volume. To have it perfect. I don't think in legislation we ever have everything perfect with every box checked. So we see areas of concern, but we can also point to some things that we support. The USCCB and Archbishop Bergoglio, as our president, has rightly noted areas of concern in this legislation, especially spending reductions in healthcare, food assistance, and a large increase in spending on immigration enforcement that, while we respect the need for law and order, also may risk harm to families and their spiritual well-being. So Archbishop Bergoglio in the conference has mentioned that pastoral sensitivity. And he also said that the final version of the bill include very concerning cuts to, as I mentioned, healthcare and food assistance, being very vigilant about tax cuts that may increase inequality, he said, immigration's provisions that harm families and children, and cuts to programs that protect God's creation. And he continue, as its provisions go into effect, people may, as some are reporting, lose access to health care and struggle to buy groceries. And so all these things are of concern. We obviously have to be vigilant and see the impact and always speak of our responsibility to care for all people, especially the poor and the needy. As we say often, Tom, on this podcast, the Catholic Church teaching to uphold human dignity and the common good compels us to redouble our efforts, I believe, and offer concrete help to those who will be in greater need. So what are the areas we can support? I'm sure many workers are happy that there's no taxes on tips and taxes on overtime pay, reminding us of how hard people do labor. And increased deductions for seniors, it's reported, will mean 88% of seniors will pay no tax on their Social Security benefits. An increase to the child tax credit to $2,200 per child. This will affect over 40 million families. A new $1,000 federal baby bonus for families to invest when they welcome a child. And perhaps most significantly, from a pro-life perspective, Medicaid funding to Planned Parenthood has been eliminated for the next year, which never has happened before. So we see some, as we promote and teach and live the gospel of life, we see how some of major issues are supported in what we believe, but also there are some major concerns as it impact our immigration community, families, the poor, and the seniors. So no bill is perfect. We have to challenge that which we believe will cause harm instead of promoting the common good. But there's nothing wrong with saying, but we're pleased to see this, especially that last item that I mentioned.
Yeah, that's right, Bishop. Thank you very much for walking us through that. It is, you're one of the few honest men in Washington, maybe, who admits they didn't read the whole bill, but who can, right? And it's better to trust the sources
I always
that we
will,
have.
encourage our listeners to let your voice be heard. I'm just sharing with you my initial thoughts. I'm sure some of these will evolve, but we all have thoughts and opinions, and I think that I always encourage our listeners, let your voices be heard. Write to your senators, your elected officials, and let them know what you're thinking. They represent us.
And on that note, of course, we should mention the good work of the Virginia Catholic Conference. And if folks haven't checked that out, or if it's the first time you're hearing of it, we'll link to it in the show notes. But you can sign up through the VCC for Virginia-related alerts, as well as, of course, the USCCB for national alerts along those lines with legislation and other social issues. One other item that's occurred just recently in the past few days is the IRS. This might be the first time we're talking about IRS policy on the podcast.
Isn't it truth? I know.
The IRS has announced earlier this week that what's called the Johnson Amendment, it's not really an amendment. We think of like a constitutional amendment. Johnson Amendment was just a tax policy provision that got that name. That has been eliminated in the tax policy of the IRS. So this was a 70-year-old provision. And its effect was that churches would basically risk their tax-exempt status. They could risk it if they engaged in speech activities that supported or opposed political candidates for public office. So people running or people seeking re-election. And so this, some said this had a stifling effect on the speech of churches. And it's been kind of a hot-button issue. Surprising to see kind of overnight as a result of judicial consideration that it is now behind us. Does this mean anything for us?
Well, I think, and again, the Conference of Bishops has issued a statement on this, but from a legal standpoint, it's important to note that the IRS was addressing a specific case involving specific facts and did so in a narrow way, is the analysis that I'm reading. But most importantly, Tom, the IRS interpretation does not change how the Catholic Church engages in public debate. The role of the church, and I say this often, in this area is to help Catholics, the faithful, form their consciences. Right? Pastors, bishops, we're not politicians. We are pastors. And so that's spelled out in a great detail in the United States Bishops Forming Conscience for Faithful Citizenship document, which there's a new introductory note to that now. So we always say that a properly formed conscience is aided by prayer, participation in the sacramental life of the church, and also being informed. And so as pastors, we must always teach the gospel of life, everything that we believe without compromise, with the sacredness, the protection, the sacredness of all human life as our preeminent issue, and the upholding of the dignity of the human person belonging to the child of God. It all begins there. If we don't get that right, then everything that flows from that will not go right. And so we're always saying that when we choose our candidates, when we engage our candidates, this is what we must expect from them and challenge them to uphold. So we don't endorse or oppose a political party, or political candidates. We teach the issues. We inform the faithful. We try to inspire the faithful. And we also, as you know, through the Virginia Catholic Conference, we do help voters to understand, here's the issue, here's what this candidate said, and here's what this candidate said, so that you can see that, and we take direct quotes from the candidates. So if we do our job as pastors correctly, I think it makes it very clear in which way should our faithful support. But it's by being learn the issues, learn the positions, bring it to prayer, discern properly, and never compromise our core beliefs, especially as it's related to the sacredness of life.
That's really helpful. Thank you, Bishop. It's refreshing to hear, especially, and as you walked us through the recent legislation in Congress, it shows the church's really prophetic witness. That the church is above political society in that way.
That's right.
It can't be reduced to one view or another.
Right. That's right. Exactly.
Well, we are moving toward Natural Family Planning Awareness Week. I know this is something close to your heart, Bishop, as a pro-life issue and as a human dignity issue. The theme this year is Pursue a Lasting Love Marriage, Create Hope for the Future. Bishop, can you share a little bit about NFP and what this year means for us?
Sure. Natural Family Planning Awareness Week marks the 55th anniversary of Humanae Vitae, a document often misunderstood in our culture, but far from being a mere list of prohibitions. Humanae Vitae offers a prophetic and hope-filled vision of marital love rooted in truth. I do encourage people, nothing like going to the source, the real source, the document. It is very readily available, Humanae Vitae, and to read that in its entirety. It affirms that authentic love is always life-giving. Authentic love is always life-giving, ordered to the good of spouses, open to the gift of life. This teaching remains one of the church's greatest treasures, yet it is so often hidden, I believe, or mischaracterized. Learning and living natural family planning brings hope to couples, especially those who struggle with infertility. Unlike technologies such as IVF, which treat children as products to be manufactured and disregarded, the dignity of human life at its earliest stages, NFP respects that dignity and also the dignity of husband and wife and honors God's design as he intends life, as he intends the beautiful gift of sexuality. And so I would encourage not only the reading of the document, but many of our parishes have very helpful brochures and resources in the back of the church on natural family planning. If you look at our parish bulletin or our diocesan website in the Marriage and Family Life Office, you'll see workshops and opportunities to learn more about natural family planning. This is a topic that we always discuss with couples preparing for marriage. So I hope this Awareness Week is one that enlightens all of us, especially our married couples and those preparing for marriage.
Thank you very much, Bishop. Well, we've also got, summertime means two things for us in terms of young people: Quo Vadis and Fiat camps for young people. Great opportunities to participate, to pray, to reflect, to come together. But maybe if you could just briefly remind us about these camps and why they matter.
Yeah. The vocations office is very, very busy in July. Father Noah, our new vocations director, he's hitting the ground running. In fact, just the other day, we had a gathering for our altar servers, these young men and women who serve at the altar. And, when I travel around our parishes, it is just so wonderful to see the reverence of our altar servers and how prepared they are, how seriously they take this privilege. So we have a little gathering for them every summer. It's called the Battle of the Altar Server. I think we're supposed to be uniting altar servers, but we know that young people like competition. And so there's all these sports and games and activities, and they are highly engaged and compete in a healthy way. And there's the top three parishes who score the most points win. So that's always, you should see them. It's like they're getting
check out the rankings.
Yeah, like an Olympic medal or something. And so it's fun. And all of our seminarians are there. So many of our priests. Knights of Columbus provide them with a great lunch. And then we conclude the day in prayer. And it's really wonderful to see, like 500, I think we had over 500 altar servers there. It's really wonderful to see these young people who were so energized at activities and, battling in a sense. Bring them to church, beautiful reverence, silence. We concluded the day in prayer. It was just such a wonderful, uplifted day. And then now we follow with these two camps you mentioned, Quo Vadis for young men and Fiat for our high school young women. Quo Vadis means, where are you going? And so high school students are asking that question, Lord, where am I going?
I'm still asking.
Yeah. So am I. We should all ask that every day, I guess. But the Lord speaks to our heart. He lets us know. He knows what path. He knows us by name. He's called us. And so we give our young men at Quo Vadis, our young women, they're of high school ages, that opportunity to be together in prayer, reflection, with people their own age, hearing from our priests and religious, helping them in the discernment process, recognizing this isn't for just high school students who are thinking about being priests or religious. It's high school students who are discerning where is God leading them. Because what we're trying to do here is help them to become disciples, friends of the Lord. And if we get that right, then they'll know their vocation. But that's the first thing we have to get right. And people who grow in the relationship with the Lord in prayer. And this is always transformative in the life of our young people, so much so that so many want to come back, and we always have a waiting list. And so I would ask all the faithful in our diocese to pray for our young people who will be attending these camps. That would be a special week for them. And of course, there's lots of fun too. You can't have high school students for a week unless there's, again, you engage them with many different activities. But pray for these young men and women. How about these young people giving a week, all the options they have? Say, no, I'm gonna give this week to kind of be with the Lord, see what He's doing in my life.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
And if we give that time to the Lord, He always uses it to touch our hearts and to fill us with grace. And I know our young people, but keep them in prayer. It'd be wonderful.
Well, Bishop, we've got a thing this fall coming up rather fast that I know a lot of all of our parishes in different ways are responding to, and we're thinking about here, the Diocesan Week of Service. And this is the first ever. You want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, so we know all of our parishes are involved in service and charitable works and works of mercy throughout the year. But sometimes it's great to bring attention to a theme, the theme of service. So we decided, we have put together a wonderful committee headed by our Vicar for Charitable Works, Monsignor Bob Selinsky, and his team. Let's do a Diocesan Week of Service. And let's be united intentionally in focusing on service as a diocese, at the same time heightening that awareness, that call that we all received. So our pastors have received information on this, many different options for how a parish can participate. We're going to do that here as a chancery staff too, and celebrate the works of mercy, the charitable works that are done in our diocese. And when we do that together, united, I'm sure the Lord will be pleased and will bless our efforts. It's November 9th to the 16th. Please be looking in your parish bulletins and see how you can be a part of this great initiative.
Thank you very much, Bishop. Well, believe it or not, we're already at questions from the faithful. We always welcome questions for Bishop Burbidge. Anyone can pose them. You can email us at info@arlingtondiocese.org or reach out to us on any of our social platforms. Today's question is from Lauren, who asks, with the busyness of summer activities, vacations, and changing routines, how can I help bring my family closer to God during the summer?
That is a great question, Lauren. Thank you so much. Yeah, because we do have usually more opportunity for quality time with family. So I know a number of families go on vacation together or spend some time together. So Lauren says, well, how is it that when we're together, how can I use this time to bring them closer to God? Don't get out of your own routine. Stay to the practices that help you. And if your family sees you practicing them, that could be a great help. If you say your morning prayers and you pray the rosary or go to daily mass, continue to do that. That's a great witness. It's a great example. But I think if you're spending quality time together, you also have just an opportunity to invite. I'm going for a walk. I'm going to pray the rosary while I'm walking. Would anyone want to join me?
Yeah.
I'm going to be saying my morning prayers today with this beautiful devotion. Would anyone want to join me? And so I think it's just inviting. You never want to impose, but you can invite, and you might be surprised. Say, hey, I've never done that before. Let me join you. And saying grace before meals together. Hey, let's do that. Even if it's a burger, let's say grace before meals today. So there's little ways, and all those little ways can make a big difference.
That's beautiful. Yeah, maybe leave that extra copy of Magnificat out on the table,
yes,
that kind of thing, right?
Exactly.
Leave your Bible out.
Exactly.
That's great. Well, thanks, Bishop. That's good advice. I'm going to take that advice too.
Yeah.
Bishop, we covered so much in this conversation, some politics and a lot going on in the diocese. Do you have any final thoughts for us?
Thank you, Tom. I just ask our Lord to continue to bless all of us. And I guess if we put together some of the themes we discussed today, to bless all of us to have that healthy balance in life, that balance of doing and being. Right? The Lord never tells us to stop doing because he wants us to do his work. He wants us to do works of service. He wants us to bring our voices into the public arena. But he says it can never take the priority of being with the Lord and having that healthy balance, being with the Lord spiritually in prayer. But also, as I wrote about in the recent Herald article, that time for leisure. The Lord wants us to enjoy his creation. He wants us to relax. And it is in being renewed and refreshed that we're strengthened for the doing. So we don't want to let these opportunities give us time to, this is an opportunity to slow down a little bit. Let me just relax a little bit so I can be refreshed to do God's work. So pray God we'll be able to have that healthy balance in our lives. It frees us from distress and anxiety and gives us peace. And we'll always have that gift if we walk humbly with our God. Thank you for listening to the Walk Humbly podcast. Make sure you check out more episodes and all the podcasts our diocese offers on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and our diocesan website, arlingtondiocese.org. You can also follow me on X, formerly Twitter, at Bishop Burbidge, where I provide a short gospel reflection each morning, and on Instagram at Bishop Michael Burbidge. Stay up to date with news, event information, and inspirational content by subscribing to our e-newsletter at arlingtondiocese.org.